Peace and blessings, family. Sister Ajali, I want to do a couple shares, short ones today, but this thing is like screaming in my face, and I just want to discuss not the details of their very compacted ways of finance, but just the practicalities. No matter what's happening, there has never been a time during an economic downturn where the basic necessities of life crash through the floor. Everybody is going to still need to bathe, to clothe themselves, to eat. I know, and I know you know too. This is all orchestrated. Even the wording on this article, contagion spreads. There you go. Is long. When there's a lull in the news cycle, as I noticed, we didn't really get all bent out of shape over the Ukraine thing and all the threats, the pontificating threats. Oh, we're going to drop the mother of all bombs. And I don't know why Pookie and Ray Ray are owed such a huge apology. That means you and me. As far as we're just the most violent people on the planet, when you got these global leaders acting like just lunatics. And so you have Biden, who I really don't think, other than his extremely stretched out plastic surgery face, that he is as extremely senile as he portrays. I'm not saying it's not possible he isn't, but at the same time, it reminds me of how Reagan was, and they realize it's so effective during the Contra Nicaragua debacle for him to say, I don't remember. And so, as Biden, the pedophile, in my firm conclusion, he's putting on an act because that's the only way that they could keep our attention, is with the one level of ridiculousness after another. Does that mean that they're always going to keep these psyops and false flags things warm and fuzzy in a way where you could just say, oh, let me just ignore them? No. This is the devil. There's no doubt these people, when it comes to wanting to stay in charge, they are desperate to do so using whatever trick they got up their sleeves, including murder. Genocide. Under Biden, they're now importing all food from Fukushima, which is just as radioactive as it was right after that nuclear power plant exploded. It's just as radioactive, and they're not going to issue any alerts. They didn't say it's not radioactive, but there will be no more alerts when it is, because it's a genocide. This is what these people do. So in the middle of all of this, you and I, Black us, we've been waking up on a huge, enormous scale. So much so that these people are in dire desperation to make it seem as if without us, you don't have anything. No, we have Allah. We have Yah. Use the name of the Creator you've been divinely guided to embrace. I love when I read in the Quran how it says that He has so many beautiful names. And so if we got Him, we got everything, because He's always going to win. And that's what all of this just bloviating on the devil's part is about. So again, I repeat, because I know there's those of us out here who you can't see past the rulership of these devils. And I can't see anything else but their end. They're over. It's done with. But seeds and dirt and water still germinate, still provide food. If you can, don't go slow anymore. Go as quickly as you can. Step away from your dependency on their just toxic foods. Is more of an ability to survive whatever comes happens, the less dependent you are on these creatures, these slithering creatures, for your sense of comfort, because you don't technically need Oreo cookies. But if you're used to eating these processed foods on a regular basis, then if they're suddenly removed from you, you might feel a panic sense that has absolutely not a daggone thing to do with reality. You're just going to feel the discomfort of your comfort foods being taken away from you. At this point in time, I buy almost absolutely nothing processed. Almost. I'm still dependent in many different ways, but less and less so. I use olive oil for flavoring. Don't cook with olive oil. But at the same time, there's oil in general I almost don't use. When I will heat up my onions for my salad, and because it brings the flavor up, I heat them up in water. Just a small little amount of water. I don't boil them, but I don't saute them in oil anymore. They actually taste better with the water. And then I just eat my salad. I'm so happy with my salad. And certain things I steam, right? Carrots, I steam them. All of these different things that if it all hits the fan, then I'm throwing out the couches in the living room. I got my lights all set up. I got the ways to grow our food right on indoors, right here. I've already foraged out in my community for dandelion greens, and I'm waiting for them to come back because I realize, whoa, these taste better than the stuff I get at the supermarket. I don't eat any meat, any dairy. I'm never going to have a cow in our living room that I have to worry about taking care of and how I'm going to feed this daggone cow. And so there are steps you could do so that you're taking care of your basic necessities. And then share that these dudes have killed the ocean. That impacts everybody. Everybody. There's white people who are wondering why no one's mentioning the Great Salmon Famine. But there's other nations out there that are also experiencing all kinds of things that are directly attributable to Fukushima, to that gamma wave radiation, that the tritium, which is hot radioactive water that is pouring out of Fukushima on a regular basis, is causing to our environment, so that everything is far more volatile. Obviously, with snow pummeling California and different regions in Africa too. I'm like, I don't ever remember hearing of snow in Africa. Okay? And so, yeah, just know there's never been a time of crisis where people didn't survive. And as a matter of fact, when ancient Rome fell, people were experiencing a greater amount of freedom. Rome was not loved the way that their historians like to put it out there, so that we're like, oh my goodness, they went into the dark ages. I'm not saying that, it's Caucasians, so that's just the state of their nature. Now, all of them, no, they don't all have to be that way. But when Rome fell, the peasants experienced an unprecedented amount of liberty to live without having these tax demons coming after them for every single little thing that they grew and harvested. I mean, talk about attention whoring. I don't even want to show the photos of, unfortunately one is on the side, but of these chicks. Nobody cares. Nobody is interested in these dudes. That's why they have to go over the top to have anyone pay attention to them whatsoever. 'Cause liars are boring. I mean, I just collect a couple stories about how the viewership is just plummeting. So they're just making it as ridiculous as possible in order to keep an audience, to justify their existence. But entertainment is so mediocre at this point, and that's the best of it. They're giving these awards to movies that, 20 years ago wouldn't have gotten even an honorable mention. And so that movie, White Noise, where I did the review on, I'll put it at the end screen, but I think by now the core people who thank you so much for coming in and watching my videos. But I think most of you have watched it. In case you haven't, it's at the end screen. But that movie, they know what they're doing. And so that movie was basically just the portrayal of their real life script that they have going on with the train derailments. And in one scene, the characters were saying, well, California deserves what it gets because they know about the radiation. That's what the whole movie was centered around, was this big black plume, which also was a metaphor for you and me who are waking up. And I don't know if it's me specifically, but I'm saying I'm getting that warning out there about Fukushima. They were not expecting anybody black to take that much of a vested interest so that that person would do deep research to prove the truth about man-made radiation. And so in the scene, they were saying, California deserves what it gets. And so God pulled me out of Hollywood. Spy Kid star Alexa Pena Vega. I don't know anything about the chick. I know it's got the 33 age up there, but I'm just saying that could be on purpose because they're trying to maintain some type of authority. Why do you have to work so hard to call up Satan? Because he's so despicable. It is even hard for demons. No white guilt, no white guilt. That means, okay, just embrace Satan, please. And there's no honor in being satanic. None. There's nothing respectable about it. And so these folks even pulled up their red carpet and replaced it for a beige one because they got to lie better. And they got to do whatever, otherwise they're losing their jobs. And you know how these dudes are about their stuff. That's their only measure of success, not their own inner harmony and bliss and righteousness. It's what kind of house they got, what kind of car you drive, what vacations do you go on. What's that mean? If your whole society is in utter free fall because you're based it on lies and treachery and viciousness, what's that mean? Absolutely not a damn thing. So the political end of it, the banking end of it, the entertainment end of it, whatever end of it, it's the end of it. It's all theater. It's all a giant Punch and Judy show. Rejoice, because we're winning. Truth is winning. People are tired of the BS. I was about to cuss, but I don't want to. Whole sorts of things I'm just like changing. I haven't used profanity on the whole, mostly, for a long, long time. And I am shoring up my own personal submission. It's not easy to do, but I'm doing it because I want Allah in charge. That's the only sanity that's possible anymore. Right? And it always ever was possible. Pope warns he's seen omens of even greater destruction and desolation for mankind. No, that's what he and all of his are going to enact because they don't know how to just admit the facts about who they are and what they've been to the only planet we have. Because the dude is saying, the priest could have sex. Why in the world, if you are a man of God, wouldn't you say, well, we're going to encourage marriage amongst our priests because the world is just going into a low level of morality and no morality. And we want to be about resurrecting, bringing back what's really valuable, that is its submission to the Creator, because that's not what the Catholic Church has ever been about. This is the ultimate Satanists. And so they're just saying they can have sex. And since when haven't they? That's like out there. I still can't get over those Boy Scouts, the 80,000 of them raped Well, how many choir boys were raped? And I don't know if they have choir girls or whatever, but I know that if you are a glutton hedonist, you a pansexual, you have absolutely no limitations in what you'll do. So I ain't forgetting about the Moloch statue in front of the Roman Colosseum, right when all the you need to stay locked in your house stuff got popped off when they lowered the definition of pandemic. And so don't forget, this is not us. They're doing their darndest, like I said, to you just forge a union between our black awakening and the wokery nonsense out there using critical race theory, which was developed by white men at Harvard. And they're doing their best in finding all these desperate black people to go along with the free fest of lunacy. So they have this chick right here. I do not respect anybody who, in sight of the moment I meet you, you're going to say, the pronouns I use, I see what pronoun you are. You aren't going to make me do a twist around the only language that I speak fluently, English, in order to I can't read a sentence that says they went to the theater and you're talking about one person. How am I supposed to differentiate that? Not at all. No, that's a burden on me. Your confusion. So this chick right here identifies herself as non-binary, and they have the nerve to say she's the first non-binary Muslim lawmaker. She's not Muslim. This is not possible. If you read the Quran, this is the cursed shaitan. And she even got it on the side of her hijab, where that's Nike. That is a satanic goddess who's all about orgies and this and that. And so this chick was removed because she was protecting. Oh my God, that is just, I'm sorry. There are ugly people out there who are good. But that is just tour de force LGBTQ nonsense, where they are so off course with what the soul is supposed to be doing that they do tend to be severely overweight. And she's not. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. That is a setup that you have to slowly get yourself away from, because them tough times coming up and you are addicted in any way to overeating, you're going to be in trouble. You got to get used to being able to fast, and so that it's not a burden even in between harvest time, when things could get a little bit tight and tough, right? It's better than having Satan in charge, that's for sure, when he's threatening the children. And so, she's not overweight, I'm just saying. But she was harboring this person who went up and, assaulted a cop. And all of this is to garner our sympathy for their deviltry. They got this attractive young lady who, I'm sorry, there are attractive whores out there. There really are. Who obviously, you got a hijab with a Nike symbol on it. And you're calling yourself non-binary. You're not Muslim. You're not Muslim at all. Okay? And so I'm just saying, step away from the hype. They're shipping Fukushima food into the U.S. food stream, and everything I've verified proves you could get it out. That's what they were doing in Chernobyl, Dr. Nesterenko and Dr. Bandashevsky, but they literally stopped them from saving teeny tiny little white babies that they're supposed to love, but they don't. And these children were coming down with horrifying afflictions. And when they gave them the protocols to get the radiation out, they got better. When they stopped them, they all got worse again. So I'm just telling you, there's ways to get that radiation out. go to 25,000 year cycle and get furnace of affliction. Because I don't even know what to say sometimes. I just love you, and I'm going to keep fighting for you so that we could all step away from the devil, and no matter what he does, we will not be Lot's wife. For you and for me, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. As a matter of fact, I'm just like, look, at this point, just pull the Band-Aid off. Let's stop with the tricks and the, falseness. Right? I don't want this to be any longer because this is I'm just speaking because I know a lot of us might be worried about this. And I'm just planning through this how to survive the fall of Satan. Bye. I love you. Straight Black family pride. And we are on our way to forever. Peace and blessings.